Welcome back to all our viewers from Season 1 as we continue our journey on our Viejo Atlas electric bikes. What a ride it's been so far, and we're thrilled to have you along for the next chapter of the octogenarian Odyssey, this time through South America. From our original North American crew, it's just Johana and me returning for this leg of the trip. But we're not alone. We're going to be joined by my wife Gloria, who's with us for the entire journey, and her daughter Julie will be joining for a portion of the ride. And something new this season, you'll be meeting others who've decided to ride parts of this journey with me. It's shaping up to be quite a social adventure. If you haven't seen Season 1, now it's a good time to go back, check it out. It starts all the way up in North Pole, Alaska, and takes you all the way down through North and Central America, ending up in Panama City. Don't forget to subscribe so you'll be notified whenever new episodes of Octogenarian Odyssey 2.0 are released. Let's talk about the van for a moment. Yes, it's the same Dodge Caravan we used last season, but it's had a bit of a makeover. During the off-season, we decorated with sponsor stickers, giving it a new look that turns heads everywhere we go. It's no longer just a support vehicle, it's part of the identity of this journey. Around June 1st, we got the message we'd been waiting for from our shipping company, Overland Embassy in Panama. If you're ever shipping a vehicle across continents, I can't recommend them enough. They're organized, professional, and they understand the challenges of long-haul overland travel. Once we got the go-ahead, we packed up and left Costa Rica on June the 4th. But not before one last night of celebration with family and friends. We met at a local pizza place where there were hugs, goodbyes, well wishes, and even a few thoughtful gifts, including a Costa Rican flag. We're going to carry it with us on this journey. It was a touching send-off. I made a stop in Cartago to spend the night at Johana's place. She's based there. Before we set off for the next morning for the Panama border. We've crossed that border multiple times now, so we knew what to expect and had everything in order. It was a quick, smooth crossing. This time we had something new with us, our own custom-designed stickers. We'll hand them out as we go, post them in different places that we visit, and leave a little trail behind us. They were designed by my granddaughter, who's a talented young artist, and they've become something of a signature mark for the journey. Naturally, we posted a couple at the border before moving on. We rolled into Panama City on June the 6th after a stopover in David, which gave us a very good rest, and we reached the city, we checked into our accommodation, and began the waiting process. Shipping a vehicle isn't something that happens overnight. There's a lot of paperwork involved, customs, port clearance, documentation, and it took about a week before everything was ready. While we waited, we made good use of our time. One of the highlights was visiting Casco, Viejo, the old part of Panama City. It's full of charm, cobble streets, colonial buildings, and some fascinating history. One site that really stood out to us was an old church that looked fairly unremarkable from the outside. But step inside and you're met with a breathtaking golden altar, an intricate glowing masterpiece. There's a story behind this altar. Centuries ago, when pirates were attacking the city, the locals knew the gold would be at risk, so they covered the altar with mud and paint to make it look ordinary. The pirates passed right by it. Thanks to that clever act of deception, the altar survived and is now one of the city's prized historical treasures. Standing in front of it, knowing what it's been through, was humbling. We also spent time wandering the market, looking for trinkets and small souvenirs. The streets of Casco Viejo are lined with stalls selling all kinds of handmade goods, bracelets, carved figurines, painting, you name it. We picked up a few things for family and friends, Of course, no visit would be complete without enjoying some of the local restaurants. We treated ourselves to a few good meals and, yes, occasional beverage. Cheers to new chapters. Finally, we got the green light to bring the van to the port. It was time to ship our trusty support vehicle to South America. The port is located at the eastern end of the canal. That's where we met up with our container buddies, another couple with a truck and a fold-up camper who would be sharing our container to reduce the cost. Now, loading a Dodge Caravan into a shipping container is no easy task. It's a long vehicle, and with the luggage rack on the back, it was just within the maximum dimensions. First, a tow truck had to lift it up to the height of the container, which took some maneuvering. Then Johana, cool, calm, and collected, drove it in with surgical precision. The sides of the van were just inches from the container walls. Once inside, she climbed out through the window and onto the roof. No easy task, but then we realized she had forgotten to pop the hood so the battery could be disconnected. So back in she went, popped the hood, and climbed out again. That's the kind of thing we'll laugh about for years. The van was packed full. Bicycles, parts, tools, luggage, everything you'd need for the next 5 months. After Johana got out, our container buddy loaded in his vehicle. The back doors were sealed, and that was it. Our van was on its way to South America. We made our way back into the city and had one final night of celebrating about getting the job done. It's always a relief when a big task like that is complete, and we knew we were one step closer to the next big leg of the journey. The next day, Johana and I headed to the airport. She flew back to San Jose to meet Gloria and Julie, and the plan was for them to join me in Cartagena in about 10 days. I flew straight to Cartagena, arriving in South America on June 18th. I arrived in Cartagena, Colombia, the official start of Octogenarian Odyssey 2.0 through South America. My first impressions of Cartagena were shaped not just by the Caribbean heat, but by the vibrant energy that seemed to pulse through the city streets. I found a small but friendly hostel tucked away in the older suburb of Cartagena, something like Getsemania, a place full of charm, color, and local character. It wasn't luxurious, but it was comfortable and welcoming, and for the next 8 days it became my home as I waited for Gloria and Johana to arrive. Getsemania quickly grew on me. Each day I wandered the maze-like alleys and cobblestone streets of the old walled town. Cartagena's historic center, inside those thick Spanish colonial walls, life bursts with flavor and color. There are rows of excellent restaurants, cozy bars tucked into the corners, and dozens of tour shops offering everything from island getaways to salsa dancing lessons. It's a place that seems tailor-made for wandering, and wander I did. What struck me the most were the colors, bright murals, colonial-era buildings painted in oranges, blues, yellows, and balconies overflowing with bougainvillea. Street vendors sold tropical fruit, jewelry, and handicrafts. Tourists milled about with cameras, wide-eyed, just like me, while the locals went about their day with that easy Caribbean rhythm. The atmosphere was friendly, festive, and relaxed. Outside the city walls, the energy did not stop. There were wide, pedestrian-friendly streets decorated with art, statues, fountains that danced in rhythm with music. The sidewalks were shaded by a canopy of colorful umbrellas that were strung across the streets on wires, fluttering slightly in the warm breeze. And when the sun went down, Cartagena truly came alive. The night brought a different magic. Street performers appeared as if out of nowhere. Musicians playing drums and guitars, dancing girls twirling in traditional Colombian dresses, and even fire breathers and mimes entertained the crowd. Many homes transferred into pop-up bars and food stalls. You could walk past a single house during the day and find that by nightfall it had turned into a buzzing local watering hole, serving up cocktails and cold beer. Restaurants spilled out into the streets, tables lit by candlelight, and music, live or recorded, filled the air until the early hours of the morning. Salsa rhythms flooded through open windows. It wasn't just nightclub, it was street life, community life, bustling at the seams with energy and soul. Cartagena sits right on the Caribbean Sea, and another part of the city, a newer, glitzier section, is marked by tall, high-rises, big hotels, modern hotels. There are a couple of small city beaches there. But if you're looking for that classic white sand Caribbean beach, you need to travel just a little further. Day tours to nearby beaches or boat rides to nearby islands like Playa Blanca or Rosario Island offer true stunning seaside escapes. Turquoise water, soft sand, palm trees swaying in the ocean breezes. But for me, those first 8 days weren't about lounging on a beach. They were about soaking in Cartagena's essence. It's a city of contrast, old, new, relaxed, vibrant, local, touristy. It reminded me that the beginning of every journey has its own rhythm, and sometimes the best way to start is simply to pause, to explore, to observe. By the time Gloria and Johana arrived, I felt like I already had a relationship with the city. I knew which alleys would be cool in the afternoon heat, where to find the best arepas, and where the street performers would gather after sunset. I was rested, recharged, and ready to ride again. But Cartagena had already left its mark on me. And that's where our next adventure begins. A new continent, new countries, new cultures, and a whole lot of road ahead.